inquiry was mainly really an acknowledgement we didn't know enough about the system, and so government initially committed $200,000 to set up a monitoring system. We did that very quickly, and now and then sufficient data accumulated, and that really provided the impetus and the opportunity to do a more comprehensive investigation to answer some of the questions that you, the local community, have been asking. And so 3 years ago now, just under 3 years ago, a 4-year research program was initiated. So we've got another year to go for that, till the end of 2020. And we're very fortunate. We've got world-class researchers from various research organisations. What sometimes happens is waiting till we've got final conclusions. So we've had a number of science days where we've invited most of the key players. And those science days have been useful for the two-way communication, because we've learned a lot from the local community, both in terms of understanding the issues and in terms of understanding some of the history as well. So that's been really valuable to us. Those independent research groups are coordinated by Kirsten Cowley, who is here today and will provide some early results from the various component science projects, and then there'll be an opportunity for some questions, both formal after this little summary of findings to date, and also over tea and coffee later on. And the information that comes out of this is not only going to address the community concerns that were mentioned before, but also provide an understanding of what we can expect from the lakes, which is important for the future management. So we work very closely with national parks, and this understanding will inform future plans for management. So with that, I'll pass over to Kirsten, and look forward to speaking with you.
Well, thanks everybody for inviting us to give you a bit of an update on what our research has been doing to date. As Tim mentioned, we have 5 research groups, 3 from UNSW, 1 from University of Wollongong and 1 from ANSTO, just looking at different aspects of the hydrodynamics of this lake and the operations and processes that are operating on them, and basically trying to answer why these lakes are going dry. So first up, our geomorphology team, they're looking at the evolution of the lakes and the sedimentology and the ages of the lakes. They're from the University of Wollongong. So in the past, sediments were deposited at in different climate regimes. There was a major drying event that we've dated back to 15,000 years before present, but that was widespread drying across all the lakes, and it lasted for a couple of centuries. So the lakes Werriberry and Lake Nerrigrang have greater magnitude of flow from groundwater than other sites, but the lakes were predominantly gaining from these perched groundwater systems around the lakes during the drying period of December 2017 to April 2018. And there were more gains in the northern section of the system. But obviously as the lakes have gone dry, there's less interaction between the lakes and the groundwater over time. But there's still water within the system. It's just within those peak deposits. So their hypothesis now, the original hypothesis was that as the lakes dry out, the connectivity between the groundwater and the surface water lessens over time. And while that still holds, they also have, while the lakes levels decline from evaporation, the shallow groundwater around the lakes and below the lakes is providing some compensatory flows. But there's a certain threshold where that compensatory flow will switch off, and it will differ between the lakes because they operate in such different ways. Historical aerial photography from 1962, and then we've got the NEAR maps and Google Maps up until 2019. So you can see all along up until about 2004, 2006, the lakes are really full, and these are the times when a lot of you guys would have been water skiing and swimming and the lake.